I woke up in the body of a side character from some trashy YA novel, the rich, pathetic simp. So when a male lead threw the black Amex card the Villainess had given him onto the hallway floor, my muscle memory from 20-plus years of being dirt poor kicked in. I instinctively snatched it, wiped it clean on my sleeve, and tucked it into my pocket. The crowd of students stared. The Villainess herself looked at me, bewildered. Did your family go bankrupt? I clutched the card in my pocket, feeling the comforting presence of a dozen other platinum and black cards in my wallet. I found myself nodding, then shaking my head. My family didn't, but I did. The Villainess just blinked. And just like that, I went from being the female lead's designated simp to the Villainess's. The first day of senior year at Northwood Preparatory Academy was already chaos. 9 times out of 10, that meant it had something to do with the main characters and the designated rich bitch Villainess. I pushed my way through the crowd in the main hall. Yep, called it. Tiffany, take your dirty money back. I don't need your charity. Leo Peterson, the brooding scholarship kid, slammed the sleek black credit card onto the polished floor with theatrical disgust. At his side, his childhood sweetheart and our story's heroine, Jasmine Ray, chimed in. Exactly. You can't just buy people, Tiffany. Our dignity isn't for sale. Tiffany Shun, the so-called Villainess, was cornered, her face flushed crimson. Her mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. Tears welled up in her eyes. Holy crap. My eyes practically turned green when I saw that card. Tiffany was a legit heiress. A card from her had to have a credit limit in the 5, maybe even 6 figures. And this idiot just threw it on the ground. I dove into the circle, scooped up the card, gave it a respectful wipe with my uniform sleeve, and slipped it into my pocket. I need it. I totally need it. I'm broke. Please, Your Highness, bestow this gift upon this humble peasant. I declared. The onlookers, Tiffany, Leo, and Jasmine. Jasmine was glaring at me like she wanted to set me on fire with her mind. See, in the novel, both Leo and Jasmine were broke. Without Tiffany's unsolicited financial aid, they could barely afford lunch. They'd always put on this big show of rejecting her handouts, all proud and defiant, but would eventually, reluctantly, accept the money. And Tiffany, the poor, naive girl, would be thrilled that they finally took it. Well, not anymore. From now on, I'd be the one accepting the charity. These two ungrateful snakes could go pound sand. Tiffany's expression shifted from anger to confusion. Ethan, she said, her voice uncertain. When did you get so hard up for cash? Whoops. In my excitement over the free money, I'd forgotten that my character, Ethan Sawyer, was supposed to be just as loaded as she was. I pulled a random excuse out of thin air. Oh, my dad cut me off. Said I won't get my allowance back until my grades improve on the midterms. A flicker of understanding crossed Tiffany's face. The original Ethan's grades were notoriously abysmal. His dad was always on his case about it. Her expression softened with sympathy. She rummaged in her designer bag and pushed a box of expensive imported chocolates into my hands. Here, for you. I looked down. It was my favorite brand of Swiss chocolate, the kind I used to stare at in shop windows in my previous life, clutching my empty wallet. I hugged the box to my chest and announced with newfound fervor, Tiffany, from this day forward, I'm with you. 2 inches my past life, I was an orphan. The group home was always crowded, the resources always thin. I scraped by, just barely fed and clothed. I got through school on scholarships and financial aid, paying for everything else with an endless string of part-time jobs. After graduation, I landed a corporate job, but the pressure only got worse. It was the classic startup grind. 80-hour work weeks, sleeping at my desk. It's no wonder my heart gave out. A cliché ending for a corporate drone. Then, I woke up here. This world was a cheesy, old-school young adult romance novel. As a wage slave, I never had time to read that stuff, but my female coworkers chattered about it endlessly, so I knew the gist. Leo Peterson was the poor but handsome genius, the kid every parent wishes they had. Jasmine Ray, a name that just screams main character, was his childhood sweetheart, the woman who stood by him from poverty to startup founder glory. And Tiffany Shun was the rich girl obsessed with him, who fell for him at first sight and proceeded to stalk him relentlessly. As for me, Ethan Sawyer, I lived in the same gated community as Tiffany. But in the original story, I was Jasmine Ray's loyal simp. What a raw deal. It was bad enough being reborn as a simp, but my character's ending was tragic. Leo eventually develops kidney failure. And guess who's a perfect match? In a moment of weakness, manipulated by Jasmine's tearful pleas, Ethan actually donates his kidney. Jasmine called him her savior for life, but after the surgery, she never visited him once. Worse, once Leo recovered, he staged a hostile takeover of Ethan's family's company. Ethan, broke and with no money for post-op care, died destitute on the streets. Talk about getting screwed over. Of course, the Villainess's fate wasn't much better. After Leo's startup became successful, he systematically destroyed her family's company, driving her father to suicide. Her mother, unable to cope, overdosed on sleeping pills. Leo then sold Tiffany to a human trafficking ring, his justification being that she had always humiliated him with her money, and now it was his turn to pay her back. She eventually slit her wrists. Seriously, what kind of psycho author writes this garbage? How could those two possibly be the heroes? From what I'd seen today, Tiffany wasn't some evil villainess. She was just a naive, sheltered girl with a crush. She heard my flimsy excuse about being broke and immediately gave me her card and her expensive chocolate. Meanwhile, Leo and Jasmine, who couldn't even afford a decent meal, acted like they were royalty, bestowing a great honor by deigning to accept her money. Luckily, I just transferred to Northwood Prep. I hadn't had a single real interaction with Jasmine yet. From now on, I just avoid her. My new mission: save myself from becoming an involuntary organ donor and, while I'm at it, help Tiffany avoid her tragic fate. Let someone else suffer their humiliation. For now on, I'll take it. If I have to be a simp, I'd rather be Tiffany's. 3 all day, Tiffany was on edge. I knew why. She was worried Leo wouldn't have money for dinner. After school, when her family's driver dropped off her dinner, a lavish spread in a multi-tiered bento box, she finally broke. She picked it up, ready to march over to Leo's desk. The second she stood up, I was there. Tiffany, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Her eyes, full of worry, narrowed at me. Why not? Do you remember why Leo always gets mad at you? I asked. She looked blank for a moment. Because I give him money. I snapped my fingers. Exactly, because you give him money. Leo is a scholar. He's got pride, you know, a man of principle. Throwing money at a guy like that is the ultimate insult. Didn't you hear what Jasmine said? They don't want your money. You've been using the wrong strategy all along. Tiffany's hands, clenched into fists, tapped together. Oh, so that's why he never paid attention to me, no matter how hard I tried. He doesn't like money. A moment later, her face was a mask of academic curiosity. So what should I do now? I leaned in, adopting a conspiratorial tone. Leo's always in the top 3 of our class, right? He said he's aiming for Harvard. But your grades right now. If you don't get into the same university, you'll probably never see him again, will you? The light bulb went on. I get it. I need to study hard and get into Harvard. I nodded, satisfied. Perfect. She was teachable. As if on cue, Leo and Jasmine walked into the classroom. They saw the elaborate dinner container in Tiffany's hands, and Leo's brow furrowed. Tiffany, don't think you're special just because you have money, he said coldly. I might be poor, but I can afford my own dinner. Tiffany, having taken my words to heart, hugged the container tighter. I know, this isn't for you. Leo froze. Even Jasmine looked at her in disbelief. The lovesick heiress was actually changing her tune. I leaned against Tiffany's desk with a grin. Hey, Tiffany, I'm starving. Any chance I could have that for dinner? For the next week, the extra meal her driver brought every evening went straight into my stomach. A few times, Tiffany looked like she was about to cave and go talk to Leo, but I always managed to distract her. Leo seemed to be managing okay. But Jasmine was another story. The healthy glow was gone from her cheeks, and she looked thinner. Before, when Tiffany was trying to win Leo over, she'd always bring an extra something for his best friend, too. Now that Leo's free 5-star meals were cut off, so were Jasmine's. Stale rolls from the cafeteria and free tap water must be a real delicacy. Jasmine finally broke and came to me, her character's designated backup simp. I was just coming back to the classroom after lunch when she suddenly stumbled, lurching dramatically into my arms. Oh, Ethan, I'm so sorry, she gasped, her face streaked with tears. I'm just so hungry. My blood sugar is low. I got dizzy and couldn't see where I was going. Please don't be mad at me. She looked up at me, a vision of tragic, damsel in distress beauty. A quick glance around confirmed it. Leo was nowhere in sight. Of course, in the novel, the heroine only ever approached the simp for help when the hero wasn't around. I hadn't spoken a single word to her since I'd arrived in this world. Yet here she was, clinging to me. You had to admire the sheer power of the plot. I sighed dramatically. I get it. Don't you worry. I'll take you right over. Jasmine's eyes lit up with a flicker of triumph, but she kept up the act. Oh, thank you, but you don't have to spend any money on me, really. I'm used to being hungry. I cut her off with a serious expression. Nonsense. You've been through so much. I can't just stand by and do nothing. From her desk, Tiffany shot to her feet. Ethan, these past few days, Tiffany and I have become study buddies, building a nice little revolutionary friendship. And she despised Jasmine for constantly trying to drive a wedge between her and Leo. Knowing she was upset, I gave her a subtle wink. Why don't you come with us, Tiffany? You've treated me to so much good food. It's my turn to treat. Tiffany hesitated, glanced at Jasmine, and then reluctantly followed us. I led them straight to the school's newspaper club office. Jasmine looked confused. Ethan, what are we doing here? I ignored her and called out to a student hunched over a laptop. Hey, how about a front-page story for your next issue? Then, I launched into an exaggerated, flowery account of Jasmine's plight. I finished with a grand summary. Jasmine Ray is a student of incredible character. She would rather go hungry than accept a handout, a true testament to her integrity. This pride, this nobility, what kind of spirit is this? It's the very spirit of perseverance and international. Moral fortitude that we, the students of today, are so sorely lacking. Her story deserves to be shared with the entire student body, to be celebrated and emulated. The heroine, the villainess, and the newspaper kid all stared at me, dumbfounded. To be honest, I had no idea what I was saying either. But I confused and flattered Jasmine into a corner, and that was the goal. The newspaper kid was the first to snap out of it. He grabbed a pen and started scribbling furiously. Jasmine, this is amazing. Can I interview you? We'll feature your incredible story in the next edition of the Northwood Chronicle. Jasmine, caught between shock and delight, stammered, Of course, you can. With them thoroughly bamboozled, I grabbed Tiffany and beat a hasty retreat. Tiffany frowned. Ethan, I thought you didn't like her. Why did you help her? I put a finger to my lips mysteriously. Chill. Just wait for the show this afternoon. After the last bell, my family's driver arrived with a massive delivery of food. While most of the class was still packing up, I made a loud announcement. Hey everyone, my family sent over some food. If you want, stick around and have dinner with us. Awesome. Most of the students at Northwood were from ordinary middle-class families. The chance to get a free, delicious meal was a no-brainer. Jasmine's face lit up, and she eagerly approached the desk piled high with steak, chicken wings, and salads. Her hand reached for a bowl of beautifully steamed fish. Just as her fingers were about to touch it, I swiftly picked it up and handed it to Tiffany. Jasmine's hand froze in midair. Tiffany, seeing Jasmine's move, happily accepted the fish. Leo saw it all. He stormed over, scowling. Ethan, Jasmine was about to take that fish. Why did you give it to Tiffany? The other students looked at Leo like he had 3 heads. Is he for real? It's Ethan's food. He can give it to whoever he wants. Wow, the entitlement. Begging for food and acting like he owns the place. I widened my eyes innocently. This fish, I had this specially made to thank Tiffany for feeding me all week. Why would I give it to Jasmine? I gestured to them both. Besides, I didn't get enough for you too. Why are you even reaching for it? Leo and Jasmine's faces went scarlet. Jasmine looked like she was about to faint, a wilting white lotus in a hurricane. Seeing his damsel in distress, Leo rounded on Tiffany. Tiffany, I know Ethan is your new lapdog. You must be doing this on your orders to get at Jasmine. If you have a problem, take it up with me. Why are you taking it out on her? Tiffany exploded. I haven't said a single word. How am I targeting her? Jasmine, you tell me. I haven't even looked at you all week. When did I ever target you? Jasmine hid behind Leo, clutching his arm and mumbling, Tiffany, because Leo and I grew up together and he's always looked out for me. You see me as a threat, so you've always disliked me. She then shook her head at Leo. It's okay, Leo. It's fine. Tiffany is an heiress. A poor girl like me doesn't deserve to eat with her. It's normal that there's no food for me. I roll my eyes. The girl might be poor, but her manipulation skills were top tier. At least she had one marketable talent. Provoked by Jasmine's performance, Leo's anger flared. Tiffany, apologize to Jasmine right now. If you don't, I'm done with you. Forever. At his words, Tiffany's face went white, her eyes filled with hurt. I couldn't stand seeing the proud heiress bullied like this. I stepped in front of her. Leo, stop looking for excuses to blame Tiffany for everything. The reason I didn't get you any food was for your own good. Jasmine looked stunned. What? I proceeded to recount the entire scene at the school newspaper office that afternoon. Jasmine, you just gave an interview. The whole school is about to read about your unbreakable spirit and noble character. How you can't be bought or broken. How could I possibly insult you with something as trivial as food? Hearing this, Leo's expression softened, but Jasmine's face was a mess. She opened her mouth to speak, but knowing her pity me playbook, I cut her off. Jasmine, you are a beacon of integrity. You light the way for the rest of us. You wouldn't want to disappoint the teachers and all the students who look up to you, would you? Jasmine's face was a tragic mask. Yes, but I raised my voice again. Everyone, let's hear it. A round of applause for the incredible Jasmine Ray. The classroom erupted in applause. Drowned in the noise, Jasmine stood there, her mouth open, utterly speechless. Thanks to my little stunt, whenever Jasmine tried to subtly ask for things, Tiffany could just shut her down with my words. Every time Tiffany recounted a story of leaving Jasmine speechless, she would laugh with pure delight. She had suffered so much under Jasmine's manipulative tactics that finally getting a win felt like a major victory. She wanted to broadcast it to the world, but I managed to stop her. Some things are better left unsaid. If we pushed too hard, Jasmine would have nothing left to lose and could become truly vicious. To thank me, Tiffany invited me out for the weekend. All expenses paid by her. Was this it? Was a wave of unimaginable wealth finally crashing down on me? She was the best. Seriously, I could cry. That weekend, we went to the new Grand Vista Mall. It was the kind of place where price tags looked like phone numbers. I watched in a state of low-grade panic as Tiffany tossed item after item at the sales associates. This one, and that one too. Wrap them all up. Oh God, how much was all this going to cost? I snuck a peek at a price tag and nearly had a heart attack. The pile of clothes was worth more than I'd earned in a decade in my past life. I quickly stepped in. That's enough. That's enough. I just wear a uniform at school. I don't need all this. Tiffany put her hands on her hips. All magnanimous authority. Don't try to save me money. My parents don't have a spending limit for me. I tearfully accepted the gifts from my magnificent benefactor. From this day forward, if anyone dared to mess with her, I would be the first to charge in a battle. No questions asked. Unlike for girls, there wasn't an endless variety of jewelry and accessory for guys to buy. But Tiffany still managed to buy me a ton of stuff I considered completely useless. Brooches, cufflinks, tie clips. Compared to all that, what I really wanted was a Nintendo. That was my kind of happiness. Hearing me mutter about it, Tiffany asked, puzzled, "What's a Nintendo?" So I gave the heiress a crash course in video game consoles. She listened thoughtfully, then turned on her heel and marched me to the electronics store, where she bought the latest model of the Nintendo Switch and tossed it to me. It was the one thing I'd been dreaming of, but could never justify buying. If we weren't in public, I would have dropped to my knees and cowed out. My teary-eyed expression made Tiffany rub her arms uncomfortably. Your family's rich too, right? You have plenty of nice things. It's just a Switch. Do you have to be so dramatic? I looked up at the ceiling with a profound sadness. I'm still adjusting to the role. You don't just shake off 20-plus years of being poor. I had the body of a prince, but the soul of a pauper. Tiffany didn't understand what I was talking about. She glanced toward a bubble tea shop in the distance. I'm thirsty. Let's get some boba. You got it. The lady commands. The servant obeys. Even though I'd managed to derail the novel's main romance, the plot was a powerful force. Good news. The bubble tea shop was empty. Bad news. The two people who made my skin crawl were working there part-time. Leo was at least trying to look busy, but Jasmine was mostly just leaning against the counter, looking poetic and bored. Now that their primary source of income, Tiffany, was cut off, they'd actually had to get jobs. The moment Leo saw us, his face soured. Tiffany, I told you I wouldn't accept your money. Stop trying to give it to me. Tiffany was also surprised to see him working there. But after a second, she reflexively clutched her purse. I know. I'm not going to give you any money. You're doing great, she said, trying to be encouraging. Leo stared, speechless. Jasmine looked equally shocked. I chimed in with deep sincerity. Don't worry, man. From now on, I will bear the shame of being showered with money on your behalf. Leo. Before the hero could react, the heroine exploded. Tiffany, you've gone too far. Ethan is our classmate, not your servant. How dare you humiliate him with money? Don't think that just because your family has a few bucks you can insult the rest of us. That's not it. I would gladly be humiliated by Tiffany's money. But before I could explain, Jasmine's mouth went off like a machine gun. Ethan, after being your classmate for a few weeks, I know you're a kind, decent person. I won't stand by and watch her bully you. I know exactly what kind of person Tiffany is. She thinks she's better than everyone just because of who her parents are. She has no respect for anyone. As long as I'm here today, I will not let you become her servant. Tiffany sneered. I happen to enjoy having Ethan run errands for me. What's it to you? She didn't even bother to correct the misunderstanding, completely indifferent to what they thought. No wonder she was cast as the villainess. Leo's face darkened. Tiffany, watch your tone. Just because you're a rich girl doesn't mean you can insult people. I snapped. What the hell, dude? Are you selectively deaf? Did you not just hear what Jasmine said about Tiffany? So much for my gentlemanly persona. I was done with it. All three of them stared at me, stunned. I guess my quiet, bookish image from the past few weeks had been pretty convincing. Jasmine, of course, jumped in to play peacemaker. Everyone, please don't fight. I'm sure Tiffany is just used to being a princess. She has a short temper, but doesn't mean any harm. Please don't ruin your friendship because of me. I shot back without hesitation. Who's fighting over you? Stop being so full of yourself. You can roll a piece of crap in glitter, but it's still not gold. Jasmine's face went from white to red and back again, and tears started streaming down her cheeks. Leo immediately rushed to her side, gently wiping her tears, then glared at Tiffany with daggers in his eyes. Tiffany, Jasmine was just telling the truth. Did you have to order Ethan to insult her like that? I can't believe you're such a malicious person. You've really disappointed me. This guy's brain must be for decoration. I had literally just insulted Jasmine right in front of him, and he still managed to pin it on Tiffany. The guy was a master of blame shifting. I was about to unleash a string of curses that would make a sailor blush, but Tiffany beat me to it. She slapped him. Hard. Leo touched his swelling cheek in disbelief. You hit me? Tiffany stared at him, holding back her own tears. You said I ordered Ethan to insult her, right? Well, now I'm not just insulting her, I'm hitting you. A man like you, who can't see the truth and does nothing but defend his little sweetheart. I don't want you anymore. Living in this book, I come to realize these characters weren't just NPCs. They weren't the one-dimensional figures from the novel. They were real people with their own feelings. Take Tiffany. The book just called her the evil supporting character because she chased the hero and was a roadblock to their love. But she never used any underhanded tactics to pursue him. In fact, she provided the money and connections that were crucial to his future success. Leo, on the other hand, was the real ungrateful bastard. No matter how much she did for him, the first thing he did after making it big was to destroy her family, egged on by Jasmine. So when Tiffany slapped him, I didn't stop her. Ever since I decided to save her from her tragic fate, I've been trying to get her as far away from these two toxic people as possible. If this was the final break, the thing that would make her wash her hands of them for good, then it was a blessing. Besides, without Tiffany's help, Leo's path to success would be a lot rockier. If he never got rich, Tiffany's family would be safe. Jasmine saw her precious Leo get hit and rushed to his side, cradling his face. Leo, are you okay? He shook his head, mumbling, I'm fine. Jasmine, her eyes red, stepped between them and pointed an accusing finger at Tiffany. Tiffany, didn't you say you liked Leo? Even if you were angry that your little games were exposed, you can't hit him. Was your love for him all fake? The other employees in the shop started whispering. Wow, that girl is so aggressive. Hitting someone in public. Well, she's a rich kid. She can get away with it. That Jasmine girl seems so nice. The rich one must have really pushed her to get that kind of reaction. Just then, the store manager bustled in from outside. What's going on? What's all the commotion? Jasmine immediately launched into her well-rehearsed sob story, transforming back into the weak, bullied victim. The manager frowned and was about to say something, but then he saw me. His face instantly broke into a sycophantic grin. Well, if it isn't Mr. Sawyer, I should have known something special was happening today. It's an honor to have you here. All eyes in the shop swiveled to me like spotlights. Tiffany, seeming to put two and two together, tugged on my arm. Oh, right. I forgot. This entire mall belongs to your family, doesn't it? Good Lord. With that one sentence, the stares intensified, hot enough to burn. I clear my throat awkwardly. Technically, it's my dad's. Has nothing to do with me. The manager slapped his thigh. Nonsense. What belongs to your father will one day belong to you. Your family. I wasn't in the mood for pointless flattery. Since you put it that way, I said to the manager, you can fire Leo Peterson and Jasmine Ray. The manager didn't even ask why. Consider it done. Leo, who was half holding the trembling, crying Jasmine, looked at me, his face as black as thunder. I didn't do anything wrong. On what grounds are you firing me? I gave them both a contemptuous look. A minute ago, you were accusing Tiffany of using her money to humiliate you. Well, look closely. The person using power and money to humiliate you right now is me, Ethan Sawyer. And you, Jasmine, you can stop trying to smear Tiffany. My family is just as wealthy as hers. She doesn't need to pay me to do anything. I carry her bag because I want to. As for why I insulted you too, there's no reason. I'm the rich, evil bastard in this story. And I just felt like calling out two ungrateful, manipulative snakes when I saw them. After Tiffany's complete break with Leo, I threw us both headfirst into a brutal study regimen. Who needs boys? Making money in the future was way more satisfying. Every time Tiffany tried to sneak a look at her phone, I'd snatch it away. Ethan, please, she'd whine, her face a mask of despair. My brain is turning to mush. Just let me scroll for a few minutes. I'd shove a math textbook into her hands. Here, when you're tired of studying, you can memorize some formulas for fun. She'd collapse onto the sofa behind her, burying her face in a pillow. But studying is so hard. Why do I have to learn calculus? I'm never going to use sine and cosine in real life. And why learn English? There's so many Chinese people in the world. Foreigners should be learning our language. That was a question too deep for me to answer. So I tried another approach. Tiffany, think about it. You're the only daughter of the Shun family. One day you're going to take over the company. If you can't read a contract or understand a financial statement, you're going to get ripped off. She fell silent, contemplating this. I pressed my advantage. And without money, you can't buy designer bags. You can't buy jewelry. You can't buy the latest couture. And without an education, you'll end up working the hardest, most stressful jobs, putting in the effort of a drug lord for the pay of a cabbage farmer. You won't even be able to afford a $10 boba tea. The color drained from her face. I delivered the final blow. But most importantly, if you're broke, that green tea sipping Jasmine will definitely mock you. There's nothing worse than being kicked when you're down. I couldn't stand it. I don't know if you could. Hell no. Tiffany shot up, slamming her hand on the table. I have to study. I must study. I breathed a sigh of relief. Thank God her competitive streak was so easy to weaponize. Fired up, Tiffany launched a full-scale academic assault, even coming up with a slogan, study till you drop, or don't even bother to start. Her parents were so thrilled, they practically wept with gratitude, thanking me for curing their daughter of her boy-crazy phase and putting her on the path to academic righteousness. My own new parents were even more dramatic, hiring 10 private tutors for us and essentially kicking me out of the house, ordering me to go live and study at the Shuns, and not to come back until I broke the top 100 in the midterm exams. Tiffany patted my arm reassuringly. Don't worry, I'll give you money. I've got plenty. I could seriously cry. She was too good to me. In the original novel, thanks to Jasmine's rumor-mongering, Tiffany was a social outcast in her class. But under my management, Jasmine was so busy working part-time jobs just to eat that she had no time to stir up trouble. Without the two main characters poisoning the well, Tiffany, who was actually quite fun when she wasn't being an over-the-top heiress, became pretty popular. Influenced by her newfound dedication, the entire class started studying harder. Our homeroom teacher was on the verge of tears of joy. You little monkeys are finally hitting the books. He even gave a special shout-out to Tiffany for leading the charge. During midterms, Tiffany was a nervous wreck, whispering to herself, "You can't do this. Don't be scared. You're an heiress. You don't lose." When the results came out, she almost burst into tears. Tiffany, who had always been a solid C student, had shot up into the top 50 of our year. "See, you're amazing, Tiffany," I encouraged her. "Keep this up, and you'll be in the top 10 in no time." She sniffled. "What about you? What did you get?" I gave her a mysterious wink. "Guess." She guessed over and over, but never got it right. But during class, our homeroom teacher excitedly announced the good news. Our class average on this midterm was significantly higher than last semester. Everyone has shown remarkable improvement, especially Tiffany Shun, who jumped over 100 places. The class applauded, their smiles genuine. Only Leo and Jasmine looked miserable. They had been working so much that not only had their grades not improved, they had actually dropped. Then our teacher beamed and dropped an even bigger bombshell. Furthermore, the number 1 ranked student for this midterm is also in our class. Congratulations to Ethan Sawyer. The applause was deafening. It was a huge deal. Our class was an honors class. We were just a regular track. For one of us to suddenly clinch the top spot was shocking. Tiffany was floored. "You're that smart. We had the same 10 tutors. How did you learn so fast?" I smiled humbly. "Just got lucky, I guess." She rolled her eyes. "Yeah, right. Hey, I was telling the truth. If it weren't for the fact that I'd lived a whole other life and retained all that knowledge, there's no way I would have been number 1. That evening, Tiffany triumphantly showed her dad her report card. "Mister." Shin grabbed my hands again, thanking me so profusely I thought he was going to ask me to be his sworn brother. Tiffany's thank you gift was another credit card. "Here, go spend it. There's more where that came from. Don't you dare try to save me money." The next day, a rumor that I had cheated to get first place was all over the school. The moment Tiffany and I set foot on campus, we could feel the weird stares. When we got to class, our classmates filled us in. I knew at once who was behind it. Who else but our resident troublemakers? "Don't worry, Ethan," one of them said. "We all know you earned it. We'll back you up." Tiffany was pacing back and forth in a fury. "I'm so mad. I'm so mad. Which asshole can't stand to see you succeed and is spreading these lies? I know how late you study every single night." I grabbed her arm, amused. "Stop spinning. You're making me dizzy." She glared at me. "Hello, you're the one being slandered. Why are you so calm?" I shrugged. What else should I do? If freaking out would help, I'd gladly do a few laps with you. Our homeroom teacher called me to his office, his face grim. A bunch of other teachers were there, even the dean of students. I raised an eyebrow, but said nothing. My teacher spoke in a low, serious voice. "Ethan, I believe you. Don't panic. Just tell us what you know. The teachers are here to support you." I nodded. "Please." I navigated corporate politics for years in my past life. This little high school drama was nothing. Besides, this time I had a rich dad. I had the capital to go absolutely crazy if I wanted to. I was mentally preparing my battle speech, but it turned out to be completely unnecessary. The dean started. "Ethan, you just transferred here this semester. You couldn't have made any enemies yet. Do you have any idea who would want to frame you?" "Me?" "Huh." My hot-headed math teacher slammed his fist on his desk. "If I find out which little punk is spreading rumors instead of studying, I swear I'll—" Our homeroom teacher cut him off. "Will you shut up? There's a student present. You'll be a bad influence." "Me?" The things I was thinking were a lot worse than what he was saying. After listening to the teachers talk for a while, I realized they hadn't called me in to interrogate me, but to comfort me. The other students in Ethan's exam room all have average scores. Who could he have copied from to get first place? And the idea that he copied from a book or his phone is even more ridiculous. We had proctors and security cameras everywhere. Whoever tried to use us as a weapon didn't even bother to come up with a believable lie. Utterly moronic. I'll bet it was someone who has a grudge against Ethan. They're just jealous and try to ruin his reputation. Don't worry, Ethan. The teachers will find the person who started this rumor and clear your name. I appreciated the teacher's concern, but I told them I would find the culprit myself. I called my dad, the man who was poor in every way except for money, and asked him to hire a private investigator. He exploded. "Those bastards, my idiot son finally gets his head on straight and aces his exams, and not even a day later someone tries to frame him. Do they think I'm just some decoration? My dad ranted for another minute, then, without even hanging up, buzzed his assistant. Cancel all my meetings today. I'm in a foul mood. Find me the best PI in the city. Money is no object. Me? Tiffany, who had been standing next to me listening to the whole thing, waved her hand magnanimously. The PI's fee, I'll cover it. With the power of money on our side, the source of a rumor was quickly identified. It was Jasmine Ray. My dad stormed into the school with a PI, a team of lawyers, and a whole entourage. Even Tiffany's dad showed up with his own crew. I looked at Tiffany, who just shook her head, as clueless as I was. Was this little high school issue really important enough to warrant the personal attention of two corporate titans? It wasn't until our father spoke that I nearly died of shock. My dad barked, "Get that girl who framed my son in here." "Mister," Shin commanded, "get that girl who framed my son-in-law in here." Me? Tiffany? Before either of us could process that, a sobbing Jasmine was brought into the office. Leo, of course, followed her. He lifted his chin and looked at our fathers with contempt. "I know you rich people look down on us, but that's no excuse to frame Jasmine for starting a rumor. Apologize to her now, and I might forgive you. Otherwise, I'll never speak to Tiffany again." "Mister," Shin shot a skeptical look at his daughter, as if to say, "This is the guy you were hung up on?" Tiffany shook her head frantically. Jasmine, in a soft, tear-soaked voice, pleaded, "Leo, it's okay. I know Tiffany and Ethan have always disliked me. They were probably just confused when they used this to frame me. Let's just drop it." "Mister." Shin looked her up and down and shook his head. Mediocre grades, a manipulative personality, and an air of desperation. No wonder my daughter can't stand you. Jasmine's face went pale, and she looked like she was about to faint. Leo was furious. "How dare you insult Jasmine? I'll call the cops right now and sue you for slander." My dad didn't even bother looking at him. "No need to trouble yourself. I already called them on my way here." Just then, two police officers walked in. The private investigator immediately put a video up on the large screen in the office. The video showed a grainy view of a back alley. Jasmine was leaning coquettishly against a guy in a worn-out band tee with greasy hair. "Dylan, I'm so mad. This guy in my class cheated his way to number 1. Oh yeah, what do you want to do about it? Can you help me? Spread the word for me." "Huh, and how are you going to thank me for that?" The guy grabbed Jasmine's chin, and her faces blurred together. You could hear the disgusting sound of kissing. Even though you could only see their backs, it was obvious what was happening. The teachers and students in the room were stunned. They couldn't believe that sweet, innocent Jasmine had this side to her. My dad handed a thumb drive with the video to one of the officers. "Officer, this young lady slandered my son, accusing him of cheating. The rumor has spread throughout the school. I'll leave this matter in your hands." Jasmine shook her head frantically, grabbing Leo's hand. "No, that's not me. It's not. I don't remember doing anything like that. I've been working so hard every day, I wouldn't have time for this." Leo was heartbroken. "Enough. You forged this video just to frame her. I see what's going on here. The school, the police, the Shun family has bought you all, haven't they?" "Me?" This hero was an idiot. Tiffany lunged forward to hit him again, but I held her back. "Mister." Shin glanced at him coolly and also addressed the police. "Officers, you heard him with your own ears. This young man is accusing the police department of corruption. You might as well take him with you." The moment she heard she might be going to the police station, Jasmine finally panicked. "Tiffany, please. Leo has to take his SATs. He wants to go to college. He can't have a record. Please say something. Tell the police not to take us." She stumbled, about to fall to her knees in front of Tiffany, but I blocked her. I scoffed. "Are you an idiot, Jasmine? I'm the one you slandered. My dad's PI is the one who found the evidence. And Leo is in trouble because he ran his mouth. Why are you begging Tiffany? You're not begging for Leo. You're just scared of getting in trouble yourself. So you're trying to use everyone's sympathy and Tiffany's old feelings for Leo to save your own skin." My words hit their mark. Jasmine's face was a horrifying shade of gray. Even Leo's face was as dark as the bottom of a pot. No matter how much Jasmine cried and pleaded, my dad and Mr. Shun were adamant. She and Leo were taken to the station. To celebrate my name being cleared, I Our two families had a huge celebratory dinner at a five-star hotel. Mr. Shin, a glass of whiskey in hand, slurred, "The nerve! Messing with my daughter? What a piece of trash." My dad clinked his glass against Mr. Shun's. "You said it. Messing with my daughter-in-law. I'll crush them." Once the initial excitement died down, I finally remembered that little detail. I pulled my mom aside. "Mom, what were Dad and Mr. Shin talking about?" My mom smiled and took Tiffany's hand. "A few days ago, your father and Mr. Shin decided that after you two graduate, you and Tiffany will get engaged." Me? I was horrified. Tiffany was only 18. Well, technically my soul was 25. My new mom tapped my forehead. "What's that look for, young man? Is my daughter not good enough for you?" My dad and Mr. Shin were both glaring at me. I swallowed hard and shot a desperate, pleading look at Tiffany. "Your Highness, don't just watch the show. Say something." Tiffany stared at me for a long moment, then turned her head away, her cheeks tinged with pink. You're passable, I guess. You're not an embarrassment to have as my fiancé." I nearly slammed my head on the table. "Are you serious? You were just in love with Leo. How could you switch me so fast?" Tiffany immediately shot back. "I was never in love with Leo." All eyes were on her. She continued, "I was mistaken, okay? I thought he was my knight in shining armor because he pulled me out of the way of a car once. I put him on a pedestal. But once I took off the rose-colored glasses, he was just some guy. And honestly, a lot of the things he did were pretty disgusting." She turned to me, her expression earnest. "You were the one who pulled me back when I was making a fool of myself, simping for him with no dignity. You told me studying was important. You helped me fight back against people who bullied me. If it's an engagement to you." Her gaze was sincere. "You're a responsible, dependable guy. If it's an engagement to you, I'm willing." A warmth spread through my chest, like a field of flowers blooming all at once. In my past life, in this one, Tiffany was the first person to ever be genuinely kind to me with no strings attached. And now she was telling me, with all seriousness, that she was willing to marry me. Any guy would be moved by that, right? I wasn't sure if this was what people called love, but Tiffany was a good person. Falling for her seemed like it would be the easiest thing in the world. So I decided I was willing to try. Even with the new fiancé title, my relationship with Tiffany didn't change much. When it came to studying, she listened to me. We were dead set on getting into the same top-tier university, aiming for the Ivy League. Tiffany's grades were still borderline, so we had to work hard. She knew what was at stake and stuck to the grueling study schedule I made for her, pushing through no matter how tired she was. In all other aspects of life, I was at her beck and call. When she was thirsty, I got her water. When she was tired, I gave her a shoulder rub. My main function was providing premium, personalized service. As for our hero and heroine, my families and the Shin's lawyers were not messing around. They made sure the facts of the case, Jasmine's slander against me, Leo's defamation of the police, were firmly established. Both were forced to post public apologies on the school's student forum and their social media accounts. They also had to give a public apology during the all-school assembly on Monday morning. And they had to pay me for emotional damages. After that, they became infamous. Everywhere they went in school, they were met with pointing fingers and whispers. "Look, it's the idiots who slander the top student and the cops." Knowing they were unwelcome, they mostly just stayed in the classroom, rarely venturing out. But Leo still had the nerve to approach Tiffany, and he did it with an air of incredible arrogance. "Tiffany, if you help me pay my mother's medical bills, I will do you the honor of being your boyfriend." In the original story, Leo's mom had kidney failure and needed dialysis 3 times a week. Tiffany, the walking ATM, had been footing the bill, keeping her in a cushy VIP hospital room. Ever since Tiffany realized what a jerk Leo was, she'd cut off the funding. Apparently, his mother's condition was worsening, and with no other options, he'd come crawling back to his money supply. Tiffany looked at him as if he were an alien. "Are you insane? When did I ever say I wanted to date you?" Leo looked as if he were making a great sacrifice. "Your family has been pressuring me, trying to ruin me. I know it's all just a tactic to get my attention. Well, I'm telling you now, it worked." My lip twitched. I couldn't help myself. Trying to steal my girl right in front of me. "Get lost, you clown." Leo shot me an annoyed look. "I'm talking to Tiffany." What gives you the right to butt in? I shot to my feet. I'm talking to my future wife. What gives you the right to butt in? Leo froze, then looked at Tiffany in fury. What is he talking about? Tiffany didn't pull any punches. Are you deaf? Ethan and I are engaged. Don't you understand English? Impossible. You love me. Tiffany looked exhausted. My eyes were clouded with crap before. That's why I ever looked at you. Now that I can see clearly, why would I throw away a diamond for a bedpan? I chimed in exactly. Garbage belongs in the trash can. Go lock yourself away with your green tea girlfriend and stop polluting the air. Leo's pride couldn't take it. After spitting out a pathetic, "You'll regret this," he turned and fled. After he left, Tiffany was so disgusted she lost her appetite. Ugh, so gross. I must have been completely delusional. I comforted her. Don't worry. They won't have time to bother you for much longer. I was immediately proven wrong. On our way back to class, Jasmine blocked our path. She knelt before us, sobbing. Tiffany, I'm willing to give Leo to you. Just please, save his mother. She made it sound so tragic, as if Tiffany were some evil witch tearing two true lovers apart. Idiots really do travel in packs. I just looked up at the ceiling, completely done. Tiffany didn't even bother to respond. She rolled her eyes and pulled me around her. Jasmine scrambled to her feet, yelling after us. Tiffany, you're heartless. You're letting someone die. Leo will hate you forever for this. Tiffany stopped, turned around elegantly, and walked back to Jasmine. A triumphant smirk appeared on Jasmine's face. See? I knew you couldn't let him go. If you asked me nicely, I might consider. Tiffany reached into my pocket, pulled out a dime, and flicked it at Jasmine's face. Jasmine, caught completely off guard, just stood there, stunned, as the coin bounced off her cheek and clattered to the floor. Tiffany raised an eyebrow. I'm in a good mood today. Take this as a tip for the little drama you and your idiot boyfriend just put on. That arrogant little look in her eyes was straight out of a CEO romance novel. It was magnificent. I found myself wondering. Our study schedule was packed. Where on earth did she find the time to watch The Crown? Jasmine shrieked curses at our retreating backs. I casually asked the student who was filming the whole thing to send me the video, then posted it on the school forum. Tiffany and Jasmine both went viral. Someone even made a meme out of the frame where Tiffany flicked the coin. Next to Jasmine's stunned face, they added the caption, "Thank you for the generous tip, Your Grace." I remembered from the novel that it was around this time that Tiffany introduced Leo to a powerful businessman who took him under his wing. This mentor was the one who taught Leo the ropes of the business world and helped him earn his first big score. Now that Tiffany had broken up with him, that mentor was out of the picture. But that didn't mean I couldn't be an introducer. After some careful consideration, I subtly steered Leo toward a part-time job at a gritty, 24-hour diner run by a guy named Sal. On the surface, Sal just flipped burgers. But in the back, he ran an illegal, high-stakes poker game. Just as I predicted, when Sal heard Leo's story, he sympathetically invited him into the back room to try his luck. At first, Leo won a few small hands. He paid off his mother's immediate medical bills, then got greedy and pulled the cash-strapped Jasmine into the game with him. They never won again. Soon, both of them were in deep, drowning in debt to Sal. As soon as I heard, I blocked both of their numbers on my phone and Tiffany's. I didn't want any of their bad luck splashing onto us. After that, they vanished. They stopped coming to school, and no one heard from them again. I heard a rumor about what Sal did to people who couldn't pay their debts. For the men, he'd sell their organs on the black market. For the women, he'd sell them to trafficking rings. I don't know if it was true, but it was a fitting, almost poetic end. The fate that was supposed to befall the Simp and the Villainess in the original novel had found its rightful owners. 6 months later, we took our final exams. After months of intense, nonstop studying, both Tiffany and I got into our top-choice Ivy League university. This time, I didn't need my parents to push me. I took Tiffany to a high-end jewelry store to pick up the custom-made ring I'd ordered weeks ago. Then I got down on one knee. "Tiffany Shun, will you marry me?" Surrounded by the applause of onlookers, Tiffany sniffled, nodding her head. "Yes, I will." Without the hero and heroine to mess things up, the sidekick and the villainess were going to get their own happily ever after.